Today we're gonna fire up the Weber bullet smoker, and we're gonna smoke this pork butt, or it's the meat with many names. It's a pork butt, a pork shoulder, a butt roast, a butt blade roast, or a blade roast. Pretty much it's all the same thing. It's from the upper part of the pig, shoulder area, and it's really great for pulled pork, for sliders, to slice up. I mean, it's got multiple uses. For this roast, we're gonna do a dry rub, but we're gonna have something on here. I normally put oil or something. Today we're gonna use plain yellow mustard and a rub, pretty simple rub. It's 2 tablespoons of the smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon salt, 1 tablespoon granulated onion, 1 tablespoon of the garlic, and 1 tablespoon black pepper. And you just put it all in a bowl and mix it all up and get it ready for spreading on. Now let's get this rub on. We're gonna put some mustard on here. Of course, wash your hands. We'll rub some mustard on here. Every side, every nook and cranny, let's get all in there. On the sides here. Now let's take our other hand and get some rub in there. Don't be shy. If you run out, you can make a little bit more. Get the mustard on for sides. Don't forget to get the rub on the sides as well. We're gonna get that mustard on all 4 sides of it. We get the mustard. We'll get this end here and get the rub on there too. You let it sit like that for a little bit, then you flip it over and get the other side. Now that all sides are covered and coated with the rub, we take it out to the grill. We're out here at the smoker. I have the smoker in its different sections here. I like starting off with lump coal, and to the lump coal I add my smoking wood. In this case I'm using oak. So I'll take this coal that I have here and I'll add my firewood to it here and let it start firing up here. The inside of the bullet smoker has a pan here that's used for adding water to that. What that does, it doesn't just allow for a moisture or humidity, it also helps keep a consistent temperature. Some people fill it with sand. I've even seen people use lava rocks in there. I prefer to use water because it does add the extra moisture. Some people even add aromatics, rosemary, onions, oregano, different things to their water. I just use plain water. I'm adding water to the tray. Just plain hose tap water, as it doesn't get, you're not drinking this stuff here. It's okay to use, regular tap water on this. And let's get that filled up. We've had the smoker here preheating for 275. That's what I love about these bullet smokers. They keep consistent heat. They just work great. The water tray is an awesome feature just to help keep that temperature stable. So now that we have it around 275, we're going to go ahead and open her up and place our meat on there. For the pork roast, I like placing the fat side up, and we'll get the lid back on there so we don't lose any. We'll get the lid back on there so we don't lose any heat. And now we just watch our temperature. Oh, let's flip this so we can see our temperature gauge here. Now we're cooking. For basting, you can use any red wine that you have, that you drink, that you'd like. I like to add a little bit of sweetness, so either some honey, some agave nectar. In this case, I'm using some maple syrup, and also help give it a little bit of a glaze, nice shine to it. Red wine and some maple syrup or honey or agave nectar. I have this pretty nifty little baster here. You put your liquid and stuff in this thing, and I think my wife picked it up at Pampered Chef, through Pampered Chef or something like that. Tupperware, one of the two. Actually, yeah, Pampered Chef. Pretty cool. So it's been smoking for about an hour now. Let's check it out here. We'll gotta baste it too. Ooh, nice. It's getting a nice little crust on there. Set this down. Let's see. Looking good. So far, so good. And here comes the basting. Just keep it moist. Brush it on. And we'll get that lid back on. Don't waste any of that precious heat. Heat's still maintaining it around 250, which is good. If not, you know, you can control your temperatures by adjusting your vents, opening and closing your vents. Obviously, you're opening them if your temperature is too low. Let some air in to get that fire going a little bit, get that heat going up. I have some of my oak here that I would add if I needed to. Haven't had to yet. And this particular smoker has 3 vents on the bottom and one at the top. I love this little Weber. I had an old Brinkman over there that's kind of retired now. That's called it my little minion. And now this is my new guy here. Can't call it my minion no more. My son says this is my little R2 unit, which is kind of cool too. So the roast has been on here for about 2.5 hours here. The temperature's gone down a little bit at 200, but should be okay. Let's take a look at it now. Nice. A good way to tell that it's ready is also by the blade bone. There should be a bone in here called the blade bone, and if you can release it or pull it out pretty easy, it's usually a good indicator that it's pretty ready to go. So what I'm gonna do now, I don't want it to get too dry. I'm gonna baste it one more time and wrap it in foil, and then put a probe thermometer in there and have it reach an internal temperature of 200 degrees. Now that I have it here, I like to get it with a few layers of foil, a few good layers. But first we got to put the probe in the thickest part of it here. We'll put the probe into the thickest part of it without hitting the bone. We'll do that. And then we'll wrap it up this way. Pull the probe wire out. Get it all in there. We'll get some more foil to finish it off. A couple more layers to the top. It's a little windy here. A couple more layers to the top. put it back on the smoker. Now it's back on the smoker. We'll put the probe closer and we'll cover it back up. And we'll just wait for an internal temperature of 200 degrees and it'll be ready. Here we are, the temperature is reached to 200 degrees and we can finally pull out the roast. Very important thing to remember with the roast and stuff, or anything off the grill, you want to let it sit before you cut into it to let it relax and regain its juices and kind of redisperse the juices within itself. You never want to cut it right away, so we'll get it off the here and let it rest. So it's been 20 minutes just sitting here. The good way to know that it's ready is by pulling this blade bone out, and if it comes out pretty clean, then you know it's done. Yeah, that's what you want there. Comes out pretty clean. And now you can shred it up, slice it up, whatever you like. We're gonna go ahead and shred it here and just have like pulled pork style.